For children, especially under the age of reason, self-defense, safety starts at home. The development of the child is important, and who and what they're going to become as an adult is just as critical. As we understand that the vast majority of abusers, the abuse began at home. So establishing boundaries with the child, understanding, listening to your child's discomforts and the whys of your child's discomforts is important, and not dismissing it as infantile or their age, but to actually take into consideration how the individual, your child, feels in certain situations or around certain people. It's also important to note our own behaviors around our children. A lot of times our behaviors are learnt by our children via watching and not so much by what we tell them, especially the much younger ones. Now, if we happen to live in an environment with an individual who suffers from anger issues that are openly displayed at home, not necessarily on an individual, but around an individual, smashing walls, hitting a computer, explosiveness, criticisms, neglect. These are types of abuse that some parents don't even realize that they're perpetrating on their loved ones. Being in a car and being 6 or 7 years old, sitting in the back seat, listening to one of your parents going off on some other driver with explicit language and all kinds of rage, that doesn't feel good for the child inside the car, or anybody else for that matter. That's kind of victimization to a certain degree, because the person who's receiving the brunt of that heavy emotion is not the other driver, but the people inside the car with you. Now, if these types of behaviors are also perpetrated at home, this is what the child is absorbing. And it has been proven scientifically that a child's brain who has gone through any kind of abuse, including as little as neglect or being exposed to extreme narcissistic behavior and the like, their brains are significantly smaller in size. Literally speaking, on a physical level, it affects the development of the human brain, especially at that age. And so it's important to listen to our child if it's 2 or 3 or 4 years old and doesn't want to hug any uncle or aunt or somebody in particular. My child doesn't like hugging anybody except his mom and his dad. He basically told us. And so we made it a point to let all the relatives know, and everybody who he didn't have at the point the courage, and sometimes it's okay to speak for our children if they're not comfortable in doing so, to let other people know, hey, you know what, my kid doesn't like being hugged. So he doesn't have to hug. You can bump fists, you can shake hands, you can say hello. It's important to remain cordial and polite when we are greeted with people, but hugs aren't an automatic display of respect or politeness. So it's important to listen to our child if they're not feeling well, if there's a reason why they don't want to go to school every Monday morning, to ask certain questions in certain ways that allows them to be comfortable or give them the platform to be able to communicate these feelings to you without feeling targeted or judged or potentially feel that they're going to get in trouble for these feelings.